Now for the Knights of the Squared Table, Tom James, Tom Schmitz, Buddy Martin, not in the building. I think we can cover this, though, Tom.
Absolutely. He's on the Big Island. He'll be back in the big building next week.
Next Monday he comes back. He'll be on Southern Pigskin tonight next week. He'll be with us this week, too, but on the roundtable he's not with us. And the roundtable this week is college football games on the schedule nationwide. A sentimental favorite, a game you'd watch no matter where it's played in the country, and a game you think has national championship implications. And because Buddy's not here and because I brought it in first, I'll defer to you, sir.
A lot of good ones, by the way.
A lot of good football games.
Okay, we're going to break this into three categories. Is that right? Tell me what the three categories are of
sentimental,
of
games you'd watch no matter where it's played in the country just because it's a good football game, and national championship implications.
Well, I'll start with the sentimental, get that out of the way. USC, Alabama in Dallas Cowboys Stadium. That's on September the 3rd. Insane talent on the field, Schmitty, but on the sidelines, on one sideline, you've got a guy who's 0-2 all-time as an official head coach versus Nick Saban. Okay, so that's where this game is going to turn, I think, early and often. First meeting between these two great football programs, by the way, since 1978. They did a home-and-home 77-78, and USC won that, and they shared the title in 1978. This time, it might be close for a while because of the athletes, but I think Alabama wins in the end.
Right away he goes to USC, and he doesn't mention that Lane Kiffin's involved in this game either.
There's a lot of storylines in that one, no question about it. Now
I'm going to sentimental game.
I'm going to go to the national game, just a great game that anybody can really enjoy no matter where you are in the country. I like on September the 17th, Oklahoma hosting Ohio State. Great matchup of quarterbacks. You got Baker Mayfield from the Sooners and the Buckeyes with J.T. Barrett. That ought to be spectacular. Bob Stoops matching up against Urban Meyer for the first time since the 2009 National Championship game. Gator fans obviously remember that. I don't think a loss for either team in this game is a killer as far as whether they can make the playoff or not, but the loser of this game will have to run the table, no question, if they want to get into the college football playoff.
Now your national implication game.
Clemson at Florida State, the weekend of Halloween. It's October the 29th. I think this is obviously the battle of the bows, Dabo versus Jimbo, okay? But for me, this rivalry, which it has really become, is the new Alabama LSU in college football. They will likely both be undefeated by the time they hit the field at the Doak, October the 29th. The winner is clearly the ACC's best team and one of the best in the country.
Three pretty good football games.
Yeah.
And I can't really argue with you about the USC-Alabama game because it's in Jerry World. It's going to be national TV. It's going to set up to be a good football game with storylines aplenty.
No, the Cowboys Classic, no question.
I'm going to start with national championship implications.
Okay.
And I know you're going to roll your eyes right away, but to me, this makes a lot of sense. It's Saturday, October 29th.
That's a great day, by the way.
And it's not the Florida-Georgia game.
Okay.
It's when the University of Utah invites in the Washington Huskies to Salt Lake City. I firmly believe if Utah can win an early football game in September against USC, Utah could be in the top 10, well in the top 10, and poised to make a run as a Pac-10-12 champion. And this time, I think if a Pac-12 champion is undefeated, I think Utah, with the offensive defensive lines they have, could become an undefeated Pac-12 team. I think with wins over Nebraska at Nebraska, because to be undefeated, they'd have had to beat Nebraska in Lincoln, with wins over Washington, Oregon, and USC. I believe this Washington game may be the one where we think Utah's for real and could propel Utah to a invite. By the way, to the national championship game, people say, well, not Utah. They've already been to a BCS game, and they beat Alabama.
You're not alone in liking the Utes. Kyle Whittingham, obviously a great coach, and a lot of players back for them on both sides of the ball. A lot of people looking at Utah this year. So,
a game that I think is just one that I want to watch.
Okay.
And it is a little bit because it's a school that I know well. Thursday, September 1st, right out of the chute, 7:30 game on the SEC Network, Appalachian State versus Tennessee.
Okay.
This isn't your run-of-the-mill cupcake game. App State went 11-2 last year, 7-1 in conference, beat Ohio in their first ever bowl game. Remember, this is the program that bested a number 5 ranked Michigan team in 2005. They know how to win these kind of football games. And Tennessee may have their eye on a game September 24th and think these cupcake games aren't that important. And like I said, Appalachian State, not your run-of-the-mill cupcake
If they
team.
lose this game, Tennessee, they won't have their eye on anything except for making sure their coach doesn't get fired by midseason. Okay.
The sentimental game, well, that's easy for me, September 24th. Florida travels to Knoxville. It's 11 straight wins on the line. You know, it was 4 head coaches ago the last time Tennessee beat the University of Florida in this game.
Crazy.
Ron Zook, 4 head coaches ago.
Yeah.
I think Butch Jones' job doesn't depend on winning the SEC East Championship. I think Butch Jones' job depends on a victory against the University of Florida. So that's the game I'm going to watch for the sentimental reasons of, to me, it's great to hate Florida State, better to hate Tennessee.
Well, Tennessee hasn't beaten Florida in over a decade, but overall, if you stretch it out farther than that, Schmitty, it's something like 26 of the last 30, somewhere in there.
Florida's won the game.
Exactly.
So there you have it, our sentimental games, our games we'd watch no matter where they're played in the country, and our national championship implication games. Tom James, Tom Schmitz without Buddy Martin. This has been the Knights of the Squared Table.